Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. We just moved the clocks forward and it's March break here in Ontario, so spring is definitely in the air and I can't wait to show you all of the progress that our hydroponic garden has been making and talk a little bit about seed starting and what we're going to have growing in our garden this year. Now I'm going to admit that I've had some trouble getting into the spring energy and wanting to start seeds and to even really think about gardening. You know, it's been a very gray winter here and we still have a decent amount of snow on the ground, but I mean, I can't wait to show you the progress that our tower garden has made. We transplanted our seedlings about 3 weeks ago. So if you haven't seen that video, I'm gonna link it. You can check it out and just see how easy the process has been. But when I show you the growth that we are experiencing with these plants, I am absolutely floored. And so as I've been watching this progress, it's starting to ignite that fire, you know? Right now, we really only have a tray of onion seeds started, and onions have always been kind of like my Achilles heel in terms of seed starting. We've never been really great at being able to start onions from seed. We've learned a few really great lessons. So I use seeds from 2021, which I shouldn't have done. And I had almost full seed failure. So then, you know, I put in my seed orders. So we're a little late with our onions, put in the seed order and some new ones came and my husband replanted and now they're finally popping up. So, you know, really look at those seed packets. And if they tell you that the seed viability is 1 year, believe them, because we had almost 100% seed failure and onion seeds have a 75% success rate on average anyway. And that's if they're fresh. So make sure you're getting onion seeds every year brand new. We are going to use onion sets as well, just because I like to sort of hedge my bets. And thankfully, onions are not too hard to source in our area, organic, chemical-free ones. And so if I still suck at growing onions, then we have some options. Speaking of that, if you have any tips for growing onions, please leave them in the comments below. Because we're on spring break here, later in the week, we are going to be starting a bunch more seeds. We're going to be starting our cabbages, kohlrabi. We're going to be starting some kale, definitely getting probably some peppers and tomatoes. I might wait a little bit. We tend to have, last year we had a hard frost well into the first week of June. And so, you know, I don't want to start them too early because then they get really massive and leggy and they're all over my house. And so we may wait a little bit for peppers and tomatoes, but we're definitely going to be starting our broccolis and all of those cold loving crops pretty soon. But right now, what I'm going to do is turn the camera around and show you how well our tower garden is producing. So here is our tower garden. I mean, check out this growth. We transplanted the seedlings 3 weeks ago. So they of course were tiny at that time. They were probably similar to these little kohlrabis that my husband planted, he said about a week and a half ago. So we had seed failure in this pod. He planted some kohlrabis and a week and a half later, this is where we're at. But check out the lettuces. So we're probably talking 4.5 weeks from when we planted seeds. And look at the growth we're experiencing. We have multiple varieties of lettuce. The basil's a little slower, but I'm not surprised about that. So there's our basil and it smells so, so good. There's another basil there. Here is our Swiss chards. And I can't tell you how impressed I am with this entire system. I can't wait to start harvesting off this and eating salads. We're already talking about ordering our next set of rock wool and really starting to experiment with what we can grow in here. So our next round, we're definitely going to keep lots of greens because it's one of the main reasons why we got this. But we're also going to be experimenting with things like broccoli, cauliflower, patty pan squash, just to see what is possible with this really amazing growing system. So I want to talk about two of the major concerns, mostly that my husband had. I was a little too excited about this, and maybe I had a bit of rose-colored glasses and didn't really think about some of the implications of having a aeroponic hydroponic system in our home. So I want to talk about the two major areas of concerns that we had because we have a small house, and this is, as you can see, right in the middle of my living room. And how we're addressing them and how things have shifted and changed. So first and foremost was the lighting. Now, during the day right now, it's not really intrusive at all. There is probably a bit of glare. My husband's playing Harry Potter Legacy or Hogwarts Legacy right now, and there's probably a bit of a glare on the TV. So one of the ways that we're going to combat that is we've actually ordered, you can see we've just been temporarily using a blanket to block it during the day, but we've actually ordered like a 3-panel folding screen to kind of tuck in front of it to block the light. It's not that we think that the system is unattractive in any way, shape, or form. I actually love being able to see the vegetables, but the lights can be a little bright, especially at night. And you do have the lights on for about 14 hours. So that's one of the ways that we're combating it. And honestly, it hasn't really been an issue ever since we put the little blanket off to block a bit of the light at night. It's been absolutely fine. Another area that we were a bit concerned about was the sound of the water trickling. So the pump goes off every 45 minutes and it's on for about 5 minutes. And when we first transplanted the seedlings in, the dripping of the water was a little loud. And so I reached out to my few friends that have these systems, and they were like, as soon as the root structures get bigger, it almost dampens the sound. You're probably not even going to notice. And now we've been living with this for about 4 weeks, it coming on every 45 minutes for 5 minutes, and I barely even notice it. My husband's actually slept out on the couch a few times, and he can sleep right through it, which is really kind of amazing. So I can attest to the fact that once the root structures get bigger and there's water sort of trickling through them, it sort of dampens that sound. Some people have talked about the motor in the pump being an issue for them. And so we may play with some of the tips and tricks that we learned online, and I'll report back in future videos. Right now, it actually hasn't been much of an issue for us at all. So on the other side of the living room is our super ghetto, held together by duct tape, little indoor greenhouse. And like I said, all we have right now are onions started. But as you can see, there's new babies popping up. So that's what I was talking about in that seed viability. The ones here that are obviously much more mature and further along were the ones that were at least 1 to 2 years old in terms of how old the seeds were. And we're having a much better success rate with the new seeds in the front here. So definitely make sure when you're planting your onions that you have fresh seeds. Okay, so as a side note, my husband was wanting me to mention that the reason why he's been sleeping on the couch is because he snores, not because he's in trouble. So I really want to put that out there. But there you have it, folks. That is the update on how our tower garden is doing. And I have to say, I couldn't be more impressed with this product. I couldn't be more impressed with the outcome and the yields. We took a tiny piece of lettuce off yesterday and it tasted so good. So I can't wait until we can start harvesting food. I mean, in March in Ontario, in my own home that I can feed my family with. I'm going to continue to take you along this journey because we're going to start experimenting with more difficult to grow crops. Things like cucumbers, broccoli. I want to try cabbage. I've seen YouTube videos where people are harvesting these huge cabbages off of tower gardens. So I want to try it. I want to see if this is, replicatable and share it with all of you. If you're interested in getting into aeroponics, hydroponics, and you want a larger system like the tower garden, just look at the description below. I've got all the links that you need. And of course, send me your questions. I'm happy to help. The more I learn about this product, the happier I am with it. And it doesn't mean we're going to stop growing food. Over the next few weeks, our seed starting is really going to ramp up. We're probably going to have to start our sweet potato slips soon, which I have a video on, so make sure you check that out. If you're planning on starting your own sweet potato slips, it's really easy to do. And of course, like I said, we're going to be getting seed started for all types of vegetables. We are still going to grow the vast majority of our food outside, but I really love having this indoor option as well. So if you've got any questions or comments, of course, please leave those below. If you're not on my email list, I encourage you to sign up for that because I have a lot of really great updates and information that come out. For example, this of course is time sensitive, but this week I'm going to be teaching in Megan Telpner's new online community called the Clubhouse. And so everyone on my email list has an opportunity to join her community. She's doing a free trial right now, and you can come to my class for free. And so this kind of information I tend to share more in my email list, so I encourage you to sign up for that. Well, this is Corinne from Spiraea Herbs, wishing you health and wellness, and I'll see you in the next video.